Welcome back to Project Mini. Just a couple little jobs to do. There's a noise coming from the back of the car and the rear tyres suffer from uneven wear, so you get a shallow section here and then a proud section here, and then as the wheel's going round on the tarmac it will actually make a rumbling noise which sounds like a wheel bearing. So before these get much worse, there's a little bit of life left in the tyres anyway, so I'm going to put them on the front and get those worn away, if you know what I mean, and try and reduce some noise. The other thing I'm going to do is this brake, when it gets hot, is really sticking on, so I'm just going to change that caliper. I've already check that the pads are free and sliding there okay, so get these tires on the back and swap that caliper over. Okay, I've got the rear wheels off to swap them round, and you can see there's a bit of corrosion on this disc, so I'm just going to give some it's called Tunap 112, and it's specifically for treating brake discs. It's not a cure, but it will certainly last and help until I put new discs on the back at some point in the future, but it'll just help to keep that corrosion at bay. Okay, so I've slatted these bolts off. That's a 13 and a 17. Top one's a 13 and 17, and then the actual hose to the caliper is a 14mm. I've slatted that off while the caliper's still in the car, so I've got something to lever against. Another thing worth noting is these should be free and able to slide. If they're not free and able to slide, then the brake caliper will only work on one side, and you'll end up wearing the inside pad out and not the outside pad. So it's just worth checking those as well. That's the old caliper off. Sometimes the rubber seal has been split and you can physically see it. This one's okay, so it will just be corrosion. I could potentially strip it down, clean it up, put new seals in, but for the cost, it's might as well just put another caliper on. And one other thing is copper slip on the brake pads where it moves and where the caliper sits on, but I always leave the inside dry so that no grease or whatever gets on the rubber seal, because it can affect the seal long term, so I always leave that surface dry. It's also worth noting that when you tighten the brake flexi up, that's running into the caliper and you can't set the position of it, so you've got to make sure that you don't end up with a twist in the brake flexi. If you do, then you've got to undo the top where it goes into the metal brake part, which you want to try and avoid because that will probably be seized in. You can usually not end up with a twist, but a little bit of luck involved with that. Now when you've replaced the brake caliper, because you split the hydraulics, you'll get air in the system, so you've got to bleed the brakes, and if you're working on your own you can use a pressure bleeder or a suction bleeder, but I just use a syringe. As I pump the pedal, the syringe will expand and take the fluid, but at the same time it won't let air come back into the pipe and back into the brake, so it's just a quick easy way of bleeding the brakes on your own, and you know you're not going to get air back in the system. I've pumped the brakes roughly half a dozen, maybe 10 times, and you can see the pistons expanded of the syringe that's took the fluid, not let the air back in. So quick and easy way of doing it on your own. Now, because I've had to swap the wheels round, I've got to reset the tyre warning system, because the difference in the size of the tyre with the tread depth could bring on the warning. So first thing is open and close driver's door, key in the slot, press the stop start button so the lights come on, but make sure you don't press the clutch pedal. And then you're going to use the button on the end of the indicator stalk. So press and release that button until you get set info. Press and hold the button on the indicator stalk and you get changed to check info, and then keep pressing the button until you get to picture the tyre warning. Press and hold for reset and you get a little tick in a box, and keep pressing and releasing again, and then you get to home, press and hold, and that's it. You've reset the tyre warning system.